This is another episode of Not the Evangelist News, and just for one of my followers, lovely bloke, really nice guy. There's a lot of trouble in the motor trade with alcoholism, lots of drinking, lots of drug taking. The pressure gets too much for a lot of people, lots of mental illness. And the EV people who can't actually put up an argument to what you've had to say, because they can't do that, what they do, they call you names. So there's one in particular, I'll show you, but I'll just do this for him. So, as you can see, I've not been drinking. Big man. Shit for brains. Okay. Barrie has a drink problem. This is a while ago, January the 4th. Replying to Ian Martin, because I've shown a counter to a good battery state of health certificate that has been posted, then reposted by the Climate Intelligence Agency to all their followers, and by someone who is listed as an expert speaker on the Everything Electric show. Because I've shown two certificates that are in the public domain that specifically states not to charge a car or even put the heater on, which is parked along with hundreds of other EVs which appear to be in a dangerous state of repair. This leads you to believe that I need help and to state it on my timeline. Is that the case? Well done, you are a fully paid up member of the EV Idiot Club. Ian, I think you need help and I hope you find it before your brain rots away completely. This was it. Barrie, I think you need help and I hope you find it. That was the reply to that tweet, showing actual evidence of a battery state of health certificate. January 4th, Barrie's on the beers again. Put the bottle down, big man. You see, the EV people, passive aggressive, buddy, pal, big man. Put the bottle down, big man. You will regret it in the morning. Hope the hangover isn't too bad, big man. These are all January the 4th. Barrie's on the beers again. Do you not have family you should be with? You know, like the important things rather than being on here making up stories. Or don't they like you either? I can't imagine making an obsession of the thing you hate. Again, straight over the head. I've got an EV, love it. I've just been out in it this morning. I love it to bits. It's fantastic. Everybody else loves it. People stop outside to take a photograph of it. All day, every day. Good point there. Upset the cult and all they do is throw schoolboy insults. Never any facts to prove you wrong though. I wonder why. Ian Martin again. On the beers again, Barrie. Hangovers are bad at your age. Might want to cut down a bit. What's funny is that you took time out of your day after what, 24 hours to find these posts? My comment hit home. Hope you get the help you need. All I am going to say on this, don't tell him, but I search shit for brains. Isn't all the rest of the EV melts? Nasty tweets come up. Takes seconds and embarrasses them forever. What a bunch of hateful tossers they are. But do you want to know something really funny? He's done nothing but call me names. He's done nothing but call me names and he's blocked me. What can I say? What I say comes from the heart, not from drink. So I've seen a couple of things this week, very, very disappointing. And to be fair, it's going to put your lives in danger. It really is. Just when you think you've heard all the negatives about electric vehicles, something else comes up. I happen to know from local events, they're building a cinema complex here Latest plans to remove electric vehicle charging points from Preston's multi-million-pound leisure and entertainment complex have been approved by Preston City Council. After gaining planning permission for the Animate scheme in 2021, applicant Maple Grove Developments lodged plans for the removal of Condition 26 from the original plans, which stated, "The development hereby approved shall be carried out in accordance with the submitted scheme for electric vehicle charging points. The charging points shall be installed prior to the first use of the development and retained thereafter." The new plans were registered in October 2022 following design development with the project's fire engineers, who concluded that locating EV charging points within the building is not compliant with fire safety regulations. The applicant said in their submission, "As the proposals do not have the ability to facilitate parking spaces outside of the building, they cannot be delivered by this proposal. The condition requiring a scheme for EV charging points therefore needs to be removed as it cannot be satisfied. The proposal aims to deliver an 8-screen cinema, a bowling alley, national and regional restaurant brands, a street food hub, 164 car park spaces, an outdoor terrace for alfresco dining, and a changing places facility." A report presented to the Planning Committee said, whilst the removal of Condition 26 would result in no EV charging facilities being available within the proposed development, through existing conditions it would not result in the development becoming less sustainable. Local Preston, they took out the charging points, the underground charging points, because it's a fire risk. They know it's a fire risk. The local council knows it's a fire risk. Everybody in the right mind knows it's a fire risk. So what have the government done? Government cuts EV charge point red tape. Drivers will be able to save up to £1,100 a year as the UK government cuts red tape to make it easier to install electric vehicle charge points. Future of Roads Minister Lillian Greenwood has confirmed that more drivers and businesses will no longer need to submit a planning application to install public or private EV sockets. So that basically means that if it's happening next door to you or on your adjoining wall, on your adjoining drive, in a block, whatever, you won't be able to object. So potentially you're going to have somebody's IEV parked next to your car, your garage, your family, your house, charging up at night. I wouldn't like it. I really wouldn't. So you've got no choice. I mean, I don't know how this affects, well, it says businesses. So how does it affect businesses? It's just, you know, the whole thing's just stupid. And the more I go into it, the more I find dangers. This story from 28th of May 2025. No EVs allowed. Parking ban spread across South Korea after fire scares. A sign banning electric vehicles is posted at the entrance of the parking tower at an office tower in Seoul's Gwanek district. As electric vehicles become more common in South Korea, many drivers are finding themselves locked out of the very spaces they thought would welcome them, parking lots. What began as fringe concern is now widespread clash between EV owners demanding equal access and property managers citing fire risks. What do you mean I can't park here? I'm sorry, but would you consider moving out instead? That was the exchange Jean, a 35-year-old resident of an office tel in Seoul's Jungnam district, had with his landlord after purchasing a Tesla Model Y. Will you move out? They don't want you in underground car parks. This is in Korea. And you see, probably it's a bit different than being in the UK, because we've got such idiots in charge and such idiots in the trade newspapers and such idiots in the daily newspapers that everything seems to be censored. I get why they're making it easier for chargers to be put in, but who's going to pay? Who's going to pay? What if your electric car goes up and burns down your next door neighbour's house or kills one of your neighbours in a fire? And don't say that it's not going to happen, because I'll put money on it now that it will. Don't say that EVs don't catch fire, because they do. Don't say that they're safer than ICE cars, because they aren't. When they go up, there is no stopping them. So this bloke, he's bought an electric car and they want him to move out. When John asked where she could park, the answer was swift. Electric vehicles were strictly banned from the premises. The building is outfitted with a vertical parking tower where cars are stacked atop one another on mechanical lifts. John was stunned. How does it make any sense that I can't park at a place I paid to live in? He said. I thought it was a woman. It was a she a minute ago, now it's a he. Fair enough. Perhaps one of those them, theirs, him, her, whatever. In response, he filed a complaint with the district office, but the landlord pushed back, questioning who would take responsibility if the EV caught fire. Good question. And the flames spread to other vehicles. In the end, John had no choice but to rent an external parking space about 500 metres from his home at the cost of $130,000, roughly $95 per month. The situation grew so tense that the building's property manager, who had faced repeated complaints from EV drivers, resigned earlier this month. John's story is far from unique across South Korea. A growing number of parking facilities are barring electric vehicles, citing concerns about fires. A recent survey by the Chosun Daily of 45 parking lots near Gangnam Style Station, Sai or whatever it's called, in Seosho District, and Hongdae Station in Mapo District, found that nearly 90%, 40 locations, prohibited EVs. The crackdown intensified after several high-profile EV fires, beginning with a blaze in August last year, involving a Mercedes-Benz electric car in an underground garage in Incheon's, whatever. They're doing this on purpose. More incidents followed in those other places there, and Busan this year. Vertical parking towers have become particular points of concern, with fires tending to spread rapidly upward. Many of these facilities have posted clear signs, no electric vehicles allowed. The result has been a standoff between drivers asserting their rights to park and property managers fearing catastrophic damage. Baz, EVs don't go up when they're charging, that's a myth. I read a report the other day about a fire in a place called Cloverdale the other day. And first of all, eyewitnesses said it started with this electric BMW on the front and then spread to the house. But it wasn't confirmed. However, as you can see here, to start off with, you see the flames start shooting out the back of the BMW. There you go. That's the house. This is June the 2nd, 2025. None of these things seem to happen in the UK. I don't know why it is. The Surrey Fire Service's battle of fire at the home neighbourhood on Monday night. Mark Forney with the SFS says that once the firefighters arrived, they saw a two-storey building up in flames. According to Forney, the fire had already gone through the roof. Now let's just be thankful that he didn't have solar panels on it, because as we know, the fire brigade have to start disconnecting the solar panels to make sure that nobody's going to get electrocuted when they're fighting the fire in the roof and when they're venting it. Reports suggest flames were first spotted coming out of an electric vehicle, a BMW SUV parked in front of the house. Forney explained that the 25 firefighters were battling the blaze. SFS Assistant Chief of Operations Greg McRobbie says all 5 residents escaped the house from upstairs and another in the basement was accounted for before crews entered. McRobbie says damage to the neighbouring houses was thankfully contained to the exterior and those residents were allowed to return home. So this guy's got an EV because he thinks he's going to save money, obviously. That's the only reason, because they don't drive nicer than a petrol or a diesel. So, you know, you can forget that. They're faster, they don't drive nicer. Petrol and diesel, in my opinion, drive nicer than EV. So he's got it to save money. How's the saving the planet going? Look at the toxic fumes coming off that. And the waste. And having to have his house rebuilt for a start. I mean, just look at it. Burning up. Man buys brand new vehicle then comes home to find it completely destroyed hours later. When's this? May 21st, 2025. A man who bought a brand new vehicle was stunned to find it completely destroyed just hours later. Tim Heldreth of Fairmont, West Virginia, suffered a devastating fire at his home after purchasing a brand new golf cart, which was the cause of the blaze. A man's home was seriously damaged, not half, in a fire caused by an electric golf cart. The vehicle was brand new but caught fire just hours after it was purchased. Heldreth purchased the golf cart earlier on Monday morning and parked it outside his home, but then he left to visit his son's house. Later, his neighbour, Sean Stevens, called and told him the golf cart was on fire. According to Cron 4, Stevens said the golf cart's battery exploded right next to him when he went to investigate the smoke. The fire spread to Heldreth's home, with Stevens forced to take the family's dog, Riley, out of the burning house. Well, thank goodness a pet's escaped, finally, because I'm sick of reading these reports where it says pets have died in the house. As I've said, they give you unconditional love. You go out, leave your EV charging, and they're cremated. This comes as drivers were warned recently to be careful when fixing their own cars, as it could lead to an electrical fire. Now, what story have I just seen? I've just seen something about some guy fitting a bigger EV battery to his Nissan Leaf. This genius doubled his Nissan Leaf's range with a home swap battery. The whole job was done on the driveway in just 3 hours. No fancy lifts, just some elbow grease and determination. The battery from the second gen Nissan Leaf fits almost perfectly in the first gen model. With double the capacity, the old Leaf EV can go over 200 miles on a full charge. The retrofit can be done at home by any home mechanic. What could possibly go wrong? I'm afraid if I saw him swapping the battery of his old Nissan Leaf on his driveway, I'd be looking to move straight away. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.